want to welcome you guys. Thank you very much for coming. We're going to be talking about autonomous operations and the best practices thereof. My name is Gupta. I'm a research director here at ARC, and I want to share a little bit about what we're seeing in the autonomous operations area. Little housekeeping here. Please silence your phone. Please also provide feedback after the session. You can do that through the app. There's a little star next to the session. Click on that, answer a few questions. Of course, it'll be perfect because it's mine. And then also be sure to check your app for updates as you go. This is the last session for today, so we stand between you and SeaWorld. Does everybody know where the SeaWorld buses will be?
In the parking lot.
Well, that's close. So you know where we've been eating and stuff. There's a portico there. They'll pick you up there, right? Well, let's talk about that. So how many people came here using Lyft or something of that nature? Okay, quite a few. Quite a few. How many of you would get into an autonomous car with no steering wheel? 2 people. All right. Right in. So what's the difference between that, hiring a driver and sitting in the back seat? Right? So I would contend to you that it's trust. It comes down to trust. And when we talk about autonomous operations, trust was a little harder to come by before COVID, right? But anyway, some of the industry trends and challenges that we are seeing that people companies are trying to deal with, there's a boatload of them, right? And you know, some of these things center around trust. You've got cyber attacks. You've got aging assets, which may or may not be trustworthy. You've got an aging workforce. They may not be here tomorrow because it's retirement time, right? We're still retiring 10,000 workers a day. They're aging out of the workforce. We are now aging people out of the workforce from Gen X. That's kind of interesting because that's my generation. And I'm like, why aren't I aging out? But anyway, but you've got other things around cost, agility. Obviously, the supply chain's thrown some stuff at us that we've had to deal with. Things around safety. You got sustainability pressures, ESG, depending on how you want to define that. We've also done a survey here recently, and you look at what the top responses were, and we're looking at excellence in delivery quality products and services, sustainability, a bunch in operational excellences. You got leveraging data to optimize, and you've got talent, change management, collaboration, innovation, culture. Where does it look like autonomy and autonomous operations would fit? Probably all of them, right? Your biggest goals in digital transformation, automation. Take a look at some of the other things that you get from quote unquote digital transformation. Which of these correlate with automation? I would posit that all of them are fed by automation. And so where's that put you guys? How does autonomous operations help? You know, I've got reduced complexity in the operating process. You want to get rid of that human error. Improve reliability and adaptability, consistency, efficiency, reduce the workload. You want to take the mundane out of the work. Because one of the things we're having trouble with is attracting young workers with the skill sets you need, and now those skill sets are the same skill sets that Google wants, in Microsoft, And you're competing with them in their game rooms, although I think they got rid of some of those. But you know what I'm talking about. You want to make it safer. And you want to institutionalize operating discipline. You want to make that stay with the company, not go with the retirement, or even if they change jobs. And autonomous operations addresses all of that to some extent. Now we have a model. Everybody's got a model at this point. You can get more granular in it or not. But you'll see you've got totally manual going up to totally autonomous and things in between. I'm not going to belabor it because like I said, everybody's got something. But what I did want to point out on the slide is that most people are and they're not 100% in any of these. They kind of bounce around between these. Sometimes they'll have a piece that's over here within the same operating fence, right? Okay, so some of the hindrances, obviously cost. Sometimes we find that some users don't have the infrastructure needed to go forward, so they've got to address that. And when you think about addressing infrastructure, you can't talk about ROI at that point. The ROI is in the actual use case that you haven't built yet because you haven't got the infrastructure. So that's a challenge. There's a challenge with some of the talent. And what we're seeing is a lot of companies are going outside, contracting, finding a supplier of some sort or a system integrator who's able to supply that talent that they can't get. One of the other challenges that some people have are labor contracts and there's labor relations. Unions are notorious for fighting anything that says automation because they equate it with replacing a person. The reality is that automation isn't replacing people. People who automate are replacing people, right? And that's been proven over time. Automation actually increases the type and level of work and the number of people that we use to support it. Okay, some current regulations, trusted technology we talked about. I like to highlight this. Some maintenance practices are from the 80s. And if you're going to automate your processes, you're going to have to be more proactive. Because once you start automating and something fails, your automation stops, right? The excessive IT costs has come up before. And there's also, since coming out of COVID, we have this return to normal mindset. Now, let's face it, we are all shaking hands at the conference here. And we all say it's glad to be back to normal. One of the things that COVID did is it kind of pushed us toward automating. And some people are, I think the want and the desire to really make those changes for automation kind of slowed down, right? So we have to be careful of that. Okay, and with that, I'm going to ask Keith DeSherry to come up.